Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Alright, we're going to tackle something that's probably been discussed just completely to death, so why not discuss it some more? I would say the forums, Facebook, everybody has talked in the last couple of years about how freaking expensive shipping on eBay is. Just going to call it out. It's expensive. I have bought a couple of saws recently, and been less than impressed with what I was charged for shipping. I'll just put it that way. Saw from the Midwest in the last couple of months was from, I think, Missouri. 90, just shy of $95. Just shy of $95. No bar. That's just the power head. That's what it costs to get from Missouri to Oregon. Now, I didn't Google map that, but what are we at, 1,500 miles? Yeah, yeah, it's somewhere in that range. So, less than impressed. So, I did some research, what I could find, and then I contacted the seller. And I figured I would summarize that here because I've learned a few things that I believe explain why this is happening and why sellers may not be aware that it's happening. Okay, I don't think this is a seller issue. I don't think this is a seller trying to clip their buyer. I believe the cause of it is on the selling platform. And I'm being really careful how I state things because, well, obvious reasons. Okay. So I'm going to try to stick to facts and reasonable interpretations of those facts as I understand them. So really, I'll just put in a big old disclaimer. This is my personal opinion, and yeah, for what it's worth, you probably shouldn't listen to a damn thing that I say because I don't know my. Yeah. Here we go. So I've got a bunch of notes here. I thanked the seller at one point for the saw, letting them know that it arrived safe and sound. I said, on a slightly different note, I have a channel that I mostly cover home light stuff on, but I do videos for collection saws and other chainsaw related stuff. I've been meaning to do a video on eBay's advertised shipping costs. I want to be clear, I'm in no way unhappy with you, but I was curious if you used an eBay shipping partner to generate the UPS label, or did you go to a UPS store, and if so, what did they actually charge you? Is it close to the $95 or 94 I said here, but it was closer to 95, whatever, that eBay estimated? Okay, I made it clear to the seller in the next paragraph as well. Look, I'm not unhappy with you. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what I'm seeing on my end because it limits me. It really does. You know, when you're dropping an extra Benji just for shipping, that hurts on saws that are already expensive. Because wouldn't you know, the saws I want for my collection aren't cheap. Go figure. So, he responded almost immediately. And, went through a few things, and he said, anyhow, with the shipping, to be quite honest, I didn't even realize you paid so much in shipping until just now. See, currently as it is, I give eBay a general size before the sale of what the box will be, or very close to in dimension or weight, and then it's supposed to automatically adjust the price based on the buyer's location. Okay, that's exactly the way it was when I was selling on eBay. I think the last saw that I sold might have been pre-COVID. It's been at least 3 years. I'm going to say closer to 4 to 5 years since I've sold a saw on eBay. I've just had such good luck selling them through the channel and through the website. So I haven't needed to. I don't need that exposure. Lil, quit lingering in the background.
Peace out, Shaka.
And that's what a 12-year-old who thinks she's a teenager is like. I'm sure some of you out there have dealt with that. Get, beat it, go clean, or no sleepover for you. Mm-hmm. You wonder why I've got more gray hair. Ugh. Okay. Wherever I was at, this sounds exactly like what I used to do. Only it used to work better. I actually used to have to pad it a little bit because they were estimating a little bit low. So that's interesting. Next paragraph. However, I've lately been having interested buyers message me asking why is a certain item costing $130 or some similar outrageous price, and unless these people messaged and told me, I would have never known that it was quoting buyers these crazy shipping costs. Okay? I can absolutely 100% back that up because when I was selling on eBay, and if I looked at my item, which, if you're only selling one or two things, you might be, oh, cool, what's it selling for? I can tell you, when you've got multiple listings, if you're up over 10, you're not doing that. You're checking the end sold page, oh crap, I gotta ship something, and you're just blowing through it. You look at what it sold for and go, cool, done, ship it, gone. That's as far as you get into it. You're not really looking at the details. So this tracks for me. I mean, this is completely there. All right. And so for me as a seller, I'm going to skip one paragraph because it's, while I tend to agree with the sentiment, I'm not going to state it here. So for me as a seller, I have two other options. Offer free shipping and ask for money from the sale to offset the cost of that, or put a flat rate fee of some certain amount and hope it covers it. Yeah, that tracks. That completely tracks. So, hoping that an item sells for a high enough amount to cover the shipping is a fool's errand. It never does. Way back in the day, and we're talking 10, 15 years ago, eBay really made a big push to get everybody to offer free shipping. As I recall, well, yeah, obviously, you weren't paying a fee. You were just paying a fee on the final sale price. The shipping was wrapped into that. But there was an incentive out there of some sort. And it doesn't really matter what it was. There was something there. And putting a flat rate up there, if you're a smart seller, you're going to put the biggest flat rate fee there is. If I'm in Oregon, I'm going to estimate southern Florida or northern Maine as my flat rate and go with that. Now, when I sell, or when I would sell on eBay, I would attempt to make sure that if I sold to somebody in Oregon, I would know, oh crap, okay, this is maybe not right, and try to look at that. But again, when you're selling a lot of stuff, you don't have a lot of time to dive into those details. You just don't. So, yeah, not a lot of good options. The calculated shipping is the right one. It just needs to be reasonably accurate, I think would be a great way to say it. So I have recently learned through asking eBay's customer service that an interested buyer can request a new total invoice for the item and their exact shipping, and then I can go in and get a much better rate in a lot of cases. Okay, that makes sense. I am aware that exists. I use it as a buyer when I buy multiple items from a seller. Alright, I think that covers... Okay, so I responded to that and just made sure that he was okay with me discussing in vague way using this information. I'm not going to identify the seller. I'm not going to identify the saw. It's not important because, yeah, this is about my thing. And I said something to the effect that it seemed like the fees had gone up since I was doing it, and he confirmed that. with used electronics, he said, I think they take 15% of the final value now, which, God, I swear that it was you've got your fixed rate for the listing, and then I swear it was a 3 or 4% when I quit doing it. So 15%. Now, granted, I never sold electronics, but still, I'm like, man, that's getting up there a ways. You're paying a lot for the marketing, which it's good. Everybody can find it. I'll give it that. Yeah, we talk about the size of the audience versus, putting it on Facebook or an online forum, which is 100% true. I usually start the bid at $100, no reserve, and let the market go. I found folks won't pay a $400 buy it now price, will pay up to $450 or more in an auction format for the same item. Totally true. Totally true. Guilty myself. There's something about the feeding frenzy. Once you get in it, it's easy to get caught up and spend more than you wanted to. And he offered me a refund. And I'm not asking for that. I don't want it because, yeah, I believe this conversation and other conversations that he's had since I purchased this saw with buyers. There's a mosquito flying around my garage, and I don't like mosquitoes. I have a sneaking suspicion that other folks who buy saws from this seller are going to do a lot better. I really believe that. So, enough blathering about generic stuff. I'm going to go into the details. Okay? So, the final sale price was $315 for the saw. eBay's quoted shipping was $94.94. So the total transaction ended up just right around 400, and I wrote down $410 in my head. That calcs. Okay. All right. So cool. I went out to UPS, my account, and did a reverse transaction. Actually, I did it from the seller's point of view and calced what I would pay using the volume pricing. It's I think it's the standard small business thing that they have. I'm pretty sure it's the same one that like Shippo or Square Shipping, because I can type in UPS details in those and get the same rate. Okay, so my rate, based on the dimensions on the box, just used all of the stuff on the label, came out to $51 shipped. Okay. So roughly half. Alright, so how do we get this? How do we get this anywhere close to what eBay charged? Or what was estimated, which is of course what you pay. So I tried unclicking create my own label, took my account off of it, and added $400 of insurance. Just trying to everything. Okay, and the only thing I didn't click was make this a green shipment, which I don't think anybody's clicking that, to be honest. I could be wrong. There's probably one person. And I was able to bump it up to $71. So even if it was taken to the counter and packaged by a UPS agent and shipped at a counter rate, like at the UPS store, I'm not sure you could get to the $94.94. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I don't understand this. This seller was able to share with me, or volunteered to, and I very much appreciate that. He showed me a screen I had never seen before, and I think it was through a mobile app, which is probably why I'd never seen it before. But it showed his fees and just some line item stuff for the transaction that he hadn't, unless you're intentionally going and looking for it, you're not going to just get it. So on that $410 transaction, he was charged $54.62 in transaction fees. And the shipping label for UPS on this statement said $32.78. So nearly right at about 1/3. 1/3 of the advertised rate. So when I saw that, I might have got him that time. When I saw that last night, and I got a little hot under the collar. I'm like, this is crazy. How? Why? That was really my question. Why? And I have an answer. That's my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's a guy in his garage sipping coffee who doesn't know horse crap from apple butter. Because I don't eat either. But, so I found a calculator on eBay's website that would allow you to estimate your transaction fees for a fantasy item. If you were thinking about selling something, and it would show you your gross profit. Okay? So, this is where it all, for me, this is where it all made sense. So I put in a sale of $315. Boom, right there. I put in an estimated shipping cost. I put in the $94.94. And then on the actual shipping label, I put in the $32.78. And was able to, at the bottom, the fee itself came up to the roughly $54.62. Roughly. It was, a few pennies off. Doesn't matter. Came in. Huh. Okay. Wonder what happens if you take that shipping cost out, that estimated shipping cost. What does the fee do? So I took that estimated shipping cost out. And wouldn't you know it, the fee dropped to about $39. Huh. Huh. Go figure. That's a pretty big difference. That's a really big difference. So, what?
Can you, after you're done with this, can you help us with the air mattress?
Yeah, give me a few.
Okay.
Gotta recenter my thought here. So that's where it started clicking for me. Like, wait, if the final valuation fee includes the cost of shipping now, why would a shipping calculator want to overestimate? So in this screen, it gives you this neat little final profit number. Wouldn't you know, the final profit number was $330. Okay? So if you're somebody who really, you track your stuff going in and out of your bank account, okay, in and out of your bank account, because eBay does not dump to PayPal anymore. You don't have a third-party account. It blasts it into your bank account. I know that much. So if you sell a saw, and say you looked at the final price, which is reasonable to think you would look at what it's sold for, and you sell it for $315, you buy a shipping label, you know that eBay has charged your buyer something for shipping, you buy the label, and you see that $330 went into your account. Okay, great, I sold the saw for that. Whatever they charged me for the fees must not have been all that bad. It appears to this uneducated guy, who's not a part of the business process there, it would appear that the fees for final valuation have been shifted to the buyer via the shipping cost, via what appear to be vastly inflated estimated shipping costs, which just so happen to carry over to the invoice. if you don't request a new total from your seller. And I can't say that that'll work every time, because some sellers probably are not, a lot aren't going to be aware of this. Some won't care. Straight up. Let's be real. Not everybody gives a crap. If half do, we're probably doing great. But you think about the way this is configured. The way it's configured, it's shifting the burden of the selling fees over to the buyer and covering it up. It's making the transaction look great for the seller, and if the shipping integration isn't really showing a charged shipping fee versus actual shipping fee in a way that it draws attention to it and they see, holy crap, that's way out of whack. Yeah. So again, I'm trying to be careful with this. I don't want to do anything that would cause a problem for my channel. So again, I'm just stating opinions that I have based on this transaction. Other transactions may be completely different. I can say that I have paid excessive shipping totals on just about every saw that I have bought that's outside of my local area in the last 3 years. So I don't believe it to be an isolated incident, but I guess it could be. So anyway, there you go. Another long-winded video where I express some, opinions and frustrations on a subject that, again, has probably been covered to death. But for me, this just kind of puts a fine point on it. And I know what I believe. So, anyway, the takeaway from this is, if you have that, at least when you first go to pay, there is a screen there. I don't remember exactly what the link looks like, but it'll be ask the seller for an invoice or something like that. Some sellers have that disabled. Most don't. So if it's there, at least give it a shot. And I would say it's worth contacting a seller before you drop the bid and say, hey, I'm seeing this oddball shipping price. Can you really check? And if it doesn't cost you that, could you refund something or check before the sale? I think it's a reasonable thing to do right now. And again, some sellers are going to tell you to pound sand. They aren't going to care. But I think a fair number will, because a lot of folks who are selling these saws at one point were collectors like us. And for whatever reason, they're moving on. They didn't like getting screwed. I'm pretty sure most of them don't want to screw us either. So anyway, there we go. Enough rambling. Catch you guys on the next one.